Welcome everyone to the second day of Technophilia Summit. A very good morning to all of you here and great to see all of you here today. And hopefully all of you had a great time yesterday and will continue to learn more today. As some of you are aware, the theme for today's summit will be getting to know the tech industry. Next slide, please. My name is Shoyin and I'm currently in my first year of Bachelor of Computer Science and I will be your MC for today's summit. Great to meet everyone here. Next slide, please. Before officially starting, here are some house rules to follow. First, do rename yourself to your real name. Secondly, be attentive and own your experience. Do maintain respectful behavior throughout the summit and drop your questions down in the Slido during the Q&A session. Lastly, please fill up the feedback form in order for you to receive your certificate. Now we will be going through the agenda for today. So at 10:45, we will be having a fireside chat on the topic of tips on early stages of a tech career. After that, we will be going for a short lunch break from 12 to 1. After that, we will begin our second session, which will be a keynote session to understand how data analytics works in product management. Once that it is done, we will have a short 30 minutes break from 2:30 to 3. Our third session will start at 3 with the topic We start with the topic joining the tech professional services. Do note that there's a change here. It will be the topic joining the tech professional services. Similarly, after that, there will be a 30 minutes break for all of you before going into our last session of the summit, which will be talking about the cloud computing. Finally, we will proceed to our closing ceremony of the Technophilia Summit at 6:30 p.m. We would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to our media partners who have given us the support and help to connect the Technophilia Summit to their communities. Without further ado, let's begin with our first session. This session has the objective to prepare the younger generation on getting into tech career. Ying, who is a second-year computer science student majoring in software engineering from University of Malaya. Now, I would like to pass this time over to the moderator for this session, Jing. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. Are you able to see me?
Yeah, I can.
So, hi, nice to meet you all. So I'm Jing, who is a member of GDSC UN. So is Fong here, our speaker?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, okay, I'm sure the participants here are willing. They want to know more about you. So could you introduce yourself and give a brief run through of your life from high school to university?
Okay, sorry, the screen changed a bit. So nice to meet all of you today. I see there's 20 participants. Also understood there's different students across different universities here, right? Mainly IT background. So myself, I'm Teoh, T-O-H. I saw there's a typo, but that's okay. Myself, I'm 96, born in 1996, so 25 this year. Already graduated for about 3 to 4 years. Hometown is based in Kota Baru, Kelantan. So for those of you who have never been there, it's actually at the northern side, East Coast, right next to Thailand. So myself, what happened is I joined Taylor's, I think about 5 years back as a foundation in computing student, and then slowly completed my bachelor degree. And throughout my university time, I also participated in a few curricular, non-curricular events inside and also outside of Taylor's. Yeah.
Okay, so what made you decide to choose this field in computing and particularly this major?
So actually in the beginning, I mean, in high school time, I believe all of us are not really sure where we want to go, right? So I actually had two options between if I want to go fully in psychology, right? To study more about human behavior, human psychology, or to study about computer, which is also a system, but it's non-living. At least, you know, whatever you do, you are not harming a life is something good, right? So thinking about also the career opportunity in Malaysia, I think computing there's a lot of opportunity, right? Compared to, of course, psychology, that's quite limited. So in terms of that two aspect, I chose computing and I went with it, and also decided to look for a few universities that offer this course. Back then, there's not a lot, right? And when it comes to computing, I particularly like the part of cybersecurity, and Taylor's was offering it, so I chose that this course here.
Oh, all right. So after you graduate, how did you get into IT industry?
So for myself, I actually was exposed to a few competition, even foundation and degree time. So through that, you actually have a lot of options. You start to know what kind of IT opportunity are out there when it comes to real life work, right? What kind of people are industry looking for? What kind of job people are offering? So particularly in one competition in HILTI, right? They were offering, even this year, they have a HILTI IT competition. So I joined as part of my university assignment, right? They took the topic and then somehow got into final and met the company. And I got offered a scholarship by them as well. That's how I got engaged with HILTI, even until today.
Also, we know that computer science is actually a hard subject. So what motivates you to stay in this field?
If you say it's hard, I don't think it's really that hard. If you saw like our friends, you may have friends that study engineering, mechanical, chemical, or even architecture, right? To me, those are way harder. In IT, because the world is very open now, you just go online, you can really look for a lot of referencing, or even YouTube, right? You can learn almost from everywhere. But when it comes to comparison, I think IT is still considered easy to learn, easy to pick up. As long as you understand the logic, it's just like that. You can't go wrong with IT.
Yeah, so yeah, we can do self-study ourselves, right? Okay, so in your job, what was your first win in the IT industry that made you feel confident that you were doing the right thing in the right field? Is there any experience?
To me, I mean, if you say the right win to feel that IT is the right industry, right? Even in university time, I think you can really try and error. Some of my friends, they do already try to get some projects, try to code. But myself, because I'm in security, right? You don't really get that a lot of hands-on experience. So for myself, first win is really through the different career opportunity, right? Just try and go out and look for internship. I believe people will offer, even though you are not in the internship module. I did that, I think, twice on one of my sem break. I just go look around and say, hey, do you have internship opportunity? Because what they want interns to do may not be what they want a full-time employee to do. That is when you can start exploring. So I did one of the internship with Origin IT, where it's a 1 month thing, but we went there and helped them to teach high school students coding, right? So that is when I feel like, IT is a really good field. It can empower people that may not think the future is there, because that particular company, right, Origin IT, they were looking for students who already give up SPM. They know they cannot make it, so he wants to give them a second chance in life, not just to say, hey, I cannot continue anymore, but at least there's still something. Because coding, you don't really need to score SPM. You don't really need a degree. As long as you know what you want and you can do it, then it's there for you. So that is where I start seeing IT is more than just IT. Is how you transform the world and also the people.
Oh, so after teaching the high school students, then you feel like you're confident in this field, right? You know more about this field.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So after getting a job, what did you feel?
So in my job, I mean, I started as a network engineer.
Okay.
And somehow I have to admit, in my university, network and what I studied is totally different, right? I did not study network. Of course, there's a few very tiny network module, I believe all of you have taken. So it's really, when I started from scratch. So you really got to study again what network is about, how to enterprise network works, how do people do subnetting, how do people do switching, firewalling, routing, things like this that I don't learn, but I learn on the job. So I have to admit, in the beginning, it's definitely tough, right? If you never deal with it before, but as long as you are open, right, your mind is open to accept the challenge, all is good. So it took me, I think, 1 to 2 years to master all of this. And then particularly, I chose Proxy and also VPN as my major topic to venture into it. Then I got the product ownership, meaning now I manage end-to-end of the services for these two services in my company.
So in your job, did your colleague lead you, or you have to self-study more?
So in the beginning, there was a senior, right? He was guiding me and also a few other new joiners from scratch, really from A to Z, what the company is about, how the network architecture is like, how do people do networking here. And then afterwards, slowly, eventually have to go and learn, figure yourself. Again, at the end of the day, you don't feel too scared, because if you step into work, right, and you don't know what is going on, you can just go online and search. Because particularly if you use things like Cisco, the big brands, they will have a very complete guidebook to how to use their product, for sure. It's just that you have to spend some time to read and go through that.
Yeah, so it's good to know that we do not need to feel scared before entering a new job in this IT field, right?
I mean, no one knows anything from the start. There will always be people to guide you, or you can always guide yourself. Just go online for help.
Okay, so to ask about your job, may I ask what is your current role about? That you are an IT product owner in client proxy and VPN, right? So what is your current role about?
So maybe you guess, and then I'll add on. So when you see the name, what do you think the job is about?
I think it's to like about maintenance of IT. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, no worries. So to address that, there's two part of it. So first part is, if you know agile methodology, there's a few roles in it, right? Like Scrum. Scrum is one of the agile methodology. So in Scrum, there's few roles like product owner, Scrum master, and developer. You can look it up later. This is the new way of IT, especially for developers, for people who are exploring things they don't know. So in our company, we are adopting this structure, right? The agile methodology and also Scrum. So we have roles like product owner, who manage end-to-end the service. Whatever that is right and wrong about the system is under my responsibility. And there's people that do Scrum Master. You may hear project manager before. So Scrum Master is the people that now guides people to build stuff. And there's also developers or even business analysts that do the actual work and also talk to the stakeholders in business. So my role here, another part of it is, what is VPN and what is Proxy? So if you know Proxy, some of you, if you use it at home, Proxy is just another hop for you to break up your network. But in enterprise Proxy, we use more than that. We are using Proxy as a mean to secure your network. Because you may have antivirus in your PC, that's endpoint, right? If there's a virus in pen drive, a file downloaded, your endpoint security can secure them. But what happens if you go to now the browsing the malicious website? That antivirus cannot do too much, right? Because you are now in the network. So this is why Proxy is important, because they make sure that you don't get exposed to dangerous website. And also, if it's not you, maybe it's a botnet, they also will block that. So we are now covering Proxy and also VPN services for entire of HILTI, internal usage. There's about 35,000 employees worldwide. So yeah, one of the hub is here, IT hub is here. And what is VPN? So VPN also at the same time, if you use VPN before, we are using it to have as a secure channel back to our data center, to use services that we don't want to expose to other people. Today, if you go to Facebook, it's publicly open. But even Facebook themselves, they may have some system that they only want internal employees to enter. Then they use VPN to allow that. That is where you need to provide your credential, and then they establish a smart tunnel. That's how it works. So two entire different services I'm managing right now.
Oh, so just now you mentioned that there are many positions in your company, right? So are you able to apply for another position like developer? Now you are an IT product owner. So are you able to apply for the developer? Like
So
after
in the Scrum term, actually, there's no clear statement that one person can only do one thing, right? You can always change. And in our company, it's also similar. There are people who start as engineer, right? They become a team lead, and then they become an architect. It's really how you want to plan your career. Not even a company can stop where you want to go, right? At the end of the day, if your plan is, okay, in the next 10 years, I want to explore engineering, go ahead, prepare yourself, plan clearly, align with your boss, right? And then go with it. Same thing, after 10 years, maybe you have family now. I don't want to do so much. Let's say some people, they say, I don't want to do so much engineering. Get it, right? I want to deal more with people. I don't want to deal so much with calculation. Then plan ahead. So with people, if there are skill set that you need to deal with people. So what is it? How to get there, and then plan with your boss and go with it. That's how our company works. We call it career development plan.
Okay, so since you are in IT field for so many years, when you are in university, so from your opinion, how has the IT industry changed in the past 5 years? Can you talk about that?
So if you notice, right, from the point where you all join, you can see a lot of buzzwords like big data, analytics, AI, machine learning. But those are, to me, already some buzzword that has gone, right? If you are into infrastructure, right, I can share more because I'm in infrastructure. There's a lot of fields. There's the data field, there's the programming field. Infrastructure is my field. So if you ask me what's the change for the next 5 years, or even for the past 5 years, in the past, things are always, they think about security means I need to do it myself, right? I want to host servers myself. Cloud is dangerous. That's what people think. But in the future, everything will go to cloud, right? Data center will go to cloud. Even the network parameters will go to cloud, right? You can imagine firewall. If you have seen one firewall before, it's a hardware, physical hardware, just like your home modem, home router, right? But now people are hosting it in a VM instance or virtual node in the cloud, and you just push your network over there. So that will be the future where we will not organize, or we will not manage things physically anymore. It should all be in the cloud, where we push the parameter or the parameter. That's the future we are looking at. Even security.
Yeah. So what skills are the most crucial to succeed in this career?
If you ask me, because there's really a lot of aspect in IT, right? It's not just one, like I mentioned. So you cannot just have one skill. You need to be very open. If you ask me, in IT, you have to be very open, because whatever you learn for the next 5 years may not be applicable anymore in next 10 years. Even what you learn today, when you go into work, you may find that, oh, what I learn and what I need to do in the work may be different, because what your boss wants should be different, right? Same thing, if today in the university you learn about Cisco, and if your company wants to use Huawei, what do? You have to relearn, right? So always be adaptive, open to learn new things, open to accept new challenges. Then you can excel very well in IT. And another important factor, another important factor, not just in IT, I think in every field, you need to be open to talk to people, to ask for suggestion, ask for help. Because people who are always trying to solve things alone tend not to do too much. When you solve things together, right, just go ask around, what do you think about this? How do you solve this? Then eventually things get solved very easily.
So for you, what is the biggest challenge in this field?
To me, I think, again, maybe the opportunity is also challenge, right? When there's a lot of things you can learn, means you have to learn a lot of things. So if you are not adaptive enough, that could be a very challenging thing for you, because some people they say it's tiring, like why I need to learn so much, right? But at the same time, if you feel that it's a challenge, then IT may not be the right field for you because it's ever changing. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, so this field is competitive, right? Yeah, so many people study.
Depends how you look at competitive, because if you say there's a lot of people doing it in Malaysia, I think no, not yet, because I don't know in your university how many students you have. If you compare IT school to other school like business, mass comm, engineering, IT, there's still not too many people, at least in Malaysia. Overseas, I'm not sure, but also there's a emerging trend that IT, the demand is increasing, but whether the supply is enough or not, meaning the experts, right? I think we are still not there yet. Because if you have people that are now hiring, it's not easy to hire, even our company.
Okay, since you say that you have to self-study much and to learn as much as you can, so are there any limitation on your personal life because of the nature of this work? Like you have to spend much time on your career.
It depends, because there are people who really work all day or night, right? I think you've seen those people. Even in university, you would see people that study days and night. But you also see people after 6, after 7, I will go out, have a life. That's what I think. It depends on your personal time management. Because if you set a boundary for yourself, meaning I will not work after this hour, then you will know how to plan your work nicely from the limited time. And then you spend your family time, your personal time at a specified time. Allocate some time to do self-learning. It doesn't have to necessarily be technical, right? It can be soft skill learning. It can be even your personal life, financial, time management, people communication. All these are times you have to allocate, because everyone has the same 24 hours. Similarly, to myself, I do that, right? But of course, in IT, there are times where things are down. We call it incidents. Unexpected times you have to really go and support, because at the end of the day, if your system is not running, you're not generating much impact for the users, right? Sometimes you even stop the business. So there are unexpected time, for sure, in every field there are. So other than that, it's really how you manage your time, and that's it.
So, do you think you can manage your time well, or you still think that 24 hours are not enough for you?
So I actually like that, there's a 24 hours only in a day, because otherwise you can never finish your work. That is the truth. In IT or in any field, your work can never be finished. So you really have to set that boundary, right? Otherwise, a day never ends. That's how I see.
Yeah, so I understand. Yeah. So okay. So now we can give some advice to the students here, to the participants here. So is it possible to get into tech industry with no experience? Like they are not majoring in computer science. Yeah.
Are there students here that are not IT field, or?
Yeah. Any participants here? They are not in IT field.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, again, now it's 2021. We are going into 2022. If you are a fan of Elon Musk, you will know that the world is changing. You don't really need a degree in IT to work in IT. Even in our company, we are slowly starting to look into that. Let's say like Hasik, you say you have mechanical engineering, but what is stopping you to learn coding? I believe you also learn coding, but you are learning a very different type of coding, right? You're trying to code the machine. You're doing mechanical. Some are electronic engineer. Doesn't matter. As long as you have the passion, you need to first understand what do you want to do in IT. Do you want to do system? Do you want to do software development? Do you want to do design? Do you want to do security? Then go online. There's a lot of courses that you can learn. Some are free, some are paid. You can even learn hands-on, right? Because I do have friends that are mechanical engineering graduate that can code better than me, because I'm not a software developer. That person just learn himself, he can code an entire system and start selling people. And then he decide, okay, I'm quitting my mechanical engineer job and just go full time as a software developer. It's always up to you, because in IT, what do you need? You don't need a machine, you just need a laptop, right? Sometimes a PC, keyboard and mouse, that's it, and a working internet. You can do whatever you want. It's really, sky is the limit. What you can do anything. But of course, if you are saying about applying a job, most of the MNCs, they are still quite restricted. They will still need like do you have a bachelor degree in IT and all that? But you think about it the other way. If you have also a degree, but in engineering, but you can show them your portfolio. I have worked, freelance as a software developer and this project. These are my portfolio. Do you think they will still look at your degree? That is something to think at. Degree would help you if you have never had a job before. If this is your first job, you can get into IT industry, right? But if you are not having an IT degree, doesn't matter. I mean, you will need to just build your portfolio. Same goes with any developer out there. If they just show I have a bachelor degree in IT, people ask them, what is your portfolio? I have no portfolio. Then you still can't get a development job very easily. That's the reality out there. So think about what path do you want to take, and also how do you achieve where you want to go. Set your goal clearly, then you know how to get there, right?
Okay. So are there any recommended channel or platform that they can learn coding, learn about computer science?
There's a lot, but I know that you can go to like Udemy, right? If you want to learn about cybersecurity, there's also one. I can't recall the name, but just look for the keywords and you'll find the right platform. But ultimately, if you just want to learn simple concept, right, high level, YouTube is always there. There's always someone teaching something for free. But the technical ones, the one that you want to get certification, then you can go to like Udemy, Coursera. I think even Harvard is offering that, like Harvard Business School. But then just Google them, make sure you know what you want to learn, and then you follow it, and then you will get there.
So it's actually useful for them to have some online certification, right? To apply for an IT.
If you want to prove that you have mastered something, for example, I want to prove that I know how to use Cisco switch. There's certificates like CCNA, right? Cisco Certified Network Engineer. You can also get, if you want to make sure that, oh, I am a certified security professional. There's also certificate for that. Certificates is important when you apply for a job. But if you want to learn for knowledge, you don't need to get a certificate. Make sure you have hands-on experience. That is more important. That's what people are looking for.
Okay, so some students are not quite interested in coding. They can go for design part, right? So what can they learn in design? Like what platform they can learn to have more experience in design, so they can apply the job.
Okay, I do not know which platform, but I believe the platforms I mentioned just now would have. But the keywords you need to search here for design in IT, you need to know about user experience, UX design. Right? And then things like CSS, you need to know how to make your design into code. That's CSS. CSS is very important. Whatever you see on the web today with colors, with design, these are all CSS. So if you know how to draw, you know the high level concept, you can make them into CSS, you can become a UX designer already.
All right. So, like before enter university, there are some students who would like to go into the tech industry, but they are not sure what field they are interested in. So, which degree they can like apply? Because there are software engineering, there are artificial intelligence, and also some more. So they are not sure about the path. So, what can they choose before entering?
If you are not sure, right, just go for computer science. Because computer science is always broad. It covers almost everything. But if you know exactly, I want to do software engineering, I want to do AI, right? I want to do cybersecurity, then go exactly to that path. But if whenever you are not sure, just take, you get, I think there's also business in IT or computer science. Just take the broad one so that after you have taken it, I think some university, they also offer like a major, minor, or elective, right, towards the end. That's where you still have choice to choose what you want. But at the end of the day, to me, if you ask me, if you have a degree in IT, that's more than enough, more than good enough. It's really what do you do other than your degree? That's what people are looking for, because degree, everyone can get it, but what do you do on top of that? Your portfolio, your CV, your experience, those are more important.
Yeah. So that's one question I think many people are curious about. So what's the difference between computer science, IT, and also software engineering?
At the end of the day, it depends when you are looking for the course, right? I mean, that's just another word, a general term. You need to look into what module do they offer. From university to university, I believe it's different, slightly different, but you need to really look at it. Most of it, computer science, they would cover really the science of computation, right? They will teach you how is it like, how does the OS works, how does computer works, how does the calculation works, what is the high level understanding, how do project management works, right? IT methodology, things like that. Business in IT, I think, is more of how do you deal with business using IT. There, I think they teach about the business use cases like the ERP system, how do you use SAP and all that, more towards business. And then when you say software development or software engineering, is really the software engineering lifecycle, right? The SDLC. How do you develop a software for a customer? What is the requirements you need to know? How do you prepare for the documentation? The development mindset. But at the end of the day, I think all of these courses, the first year would be fundamentally the same, because you have to have the same IT fundamental. And then towards second or third years is where they start putting in these electives or these different focus of areas for you. And I don't know in other university, but in Taylor's, let's say you took computer science first year, and then you suddenly know, oh, I want to do AI. You can still switch, because the first year is the same courses, same modules. You have completed, as long as you have the right credit, the right required modules, you can always switch halfway, right? Even some they offer you second year to go to like UK or Australia. It's the same concept. They have to make sure you have fulfilled the right modules, then you can continue.
Oh, is it? It is interesting. Like I know in our university, it's actually not easy to switch the major. Yeah, we choose our major in first year.
Okay.
So I think these are the questions that I prepared. So Cheryl, do you have any questions? Or we can move on to the Q&A part. So participants, you can type your questions in the Slido they have prepared. And you can drop your questions here so that our speaker can answer you and give you more information about computer science.
Okay.
Okay, so there it is. Okay, so do you want to choose the question yourself, or I will choose for you?
Let's go with the most liked, right? Top down.
Yeah.
So I see first one, do you recommend taking certifications from Udemy or Coursera? Okay, I will not recommend just broadly, but when you are taking certification, make sure you know what certification is it, right? Is it like CCNA, things that people recognize, or is it just computing 101, things that, are just very high level? Because if it's just like that, then you better study first. What is it really about? Is the certificate recognized? Because if you already have an IT certificate, don't go and take certificates that are very general. Get the certifications that are helpful, that is in a domain, right? Do you have any tips to make our CV or resume catchy in the HRI? Yes, you gotta make your CV clean and then fill in very concisely. Don't write too much, right? Because that is when you are presenting yourself, interviewing yourself, you have more to say. And then put in more experience if you have, right? What have you done in your university? What have you done outside of university? Things like this that can show your personal experience, and also how well have you developed yourself. I think this would catch the HR eye very easily, because if you just put what you have learned, I think everyone can put the same, because that's what everyone go through in uni. How is
So
my
talking
typical
about,
day?
okay, so talking about interview, so what is the interview like basically?
Job interview, you mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if every company surely have their own flow, right? But for HILTI, first they go through the HR filtering, right? Your CV you send to HR, HR will filter whether you fulfill the requirement or not. Then they will call you for an interview, right? Then they will talk to you, ask you about, hey, who are you? Maybe talk more about yourself. What have you learned in the university? Challenges, experiences, and all that. Then of course, because if you are fresh grad, they won't expect too much technical challenges. If you are a senior, right, senior higher, they will surely challenge you about very technical topics and questions. But at the end of the day, for a fresh grad, we really want to look for people that can take up challenge, willing to learn, open mindset. All are the soft skills thing if you look at it. And of course, your curricular have to fulfill very good CGPA.
Yeah.
So, which question? Let's go to the next one. I go with top down. Whoever vote up, I'll take the top one. Is it necessary to go for internship during semester breaks? For UM, I think you all have also the module, right?
Yeah.
End of the, yeah. Same for tailors. That is what I see as the modular internship, where you have to do that to get your credit. But at the same time, what I recommend is if you have long sem breaks, like 1 month, 2 months, just go and look for internship opportunity, because this is the only time where you can explore, right? Imagine after you have graduated, you start working, you can't explore much because you already start working. Internship time is really a time for you to go and see what is really out there. At the same time, company won't give you too much expectation because they are hiring you as an intern. You should really go and study and learn for free. If you saw Robert Kiyosaki, right? He said when he's a child, right? His rich dad tell him to work for free. It's like, why should I work for free? And he said that's the only time where you appreciate what you learn. If I pay you, you are thinking I'm working for that money, then you won't learn much out of your job. So this is really the only time where you appreciate, because you don't get paid much as an intern. Then you need to see, how do I benefit from this internship? This 3 months, I must learn something from it. That's how you see it, right? And this will help you. Imagine a student who graduate in a 3 years course versus another student, but this student A has interned 3 to 4 times. Even though if it's a half a month, 1 month, 2 months, people will appreciate it a lot, rather than you tell them, oh, in my semester break I go and work part-time coffee shop. What does that have to do with IT, right? So all these exposures help you in your interview process as well. Okay, I wouldn't say necessary, but it helps. Let's go to the next one. How is your typical day at HILTI? Do you think HILTI is a good company for your career growth? To answer the first question, how is my typical day at HILTI? Prior to COVID, right? How is my typical day? I start working, our official time is 8 to 5, but because I work more towards with the colleagues in Switzerland, so I start my day a bit late, right? I usually start 9 or 10, and then I end about 6 or 7. Right, because our cross time zone with them is after 2 or after 3, depends on the daylight saving. So I go to the office. Back then we are open office, no one has their own cubicle, it's all open, even the managing director, right? And then you can meet your colleagues. If you have meeting, join your meeting. If you don't have meeting, check your emails, check your we call it tickets, meaning what incidents is there assigned to you. And if really nothing, then you can really go mingle around with colleagues that are also quite free, right? Talk to people that you may not know so well. Know about what they do. That's how you network. Importantly, in a office setup is very like a university setup. If you always keep it close to yourself, you won't know too much. If you are always open to know more people, know what they do, that helps you, because in your role, it's not important to just know what you do. It's important to know what the entire organization do. Then you know how to leverage and also help everyone out, solve their problem. what problems are there for me to solve? This is the important aspect. Then we go to the pantry, drink coffee, and then lunchtime, go for lunch, comes back, meetings. Usually there's a lot of meetings because we work with people not in the office, right? And then if we need help with vendors, then we align with the vendors. But that's it. But for now, because I'm still working from home, right? We have the choice to go to the office or work from home. Similar, but except that we use Microsoft Teams, right? It's a bit like Discord, if you have Discord. So we can just ping someone that you want, call them, message them, text them, email them, have a call, because face-to-face virtually is always the best option. Rather than writing long email, doesn't help. Just call, ask, discuss, solve problems. That's the typical day for myself. Okay.
So
And second
communication
question.
and teamwork are really important, right?
Yes.
Communication.
Whatever you do, these two are very important. Just think about it. How different are you from a robot if you can only work, right? Robots don't care much about people, so that's how you win them. And how do you think HILTI is a good company for my career growth? Okay, it has to be, if you search, right, a lot of our university students graduated, even UM is working with HILTI. Why? HILTI is not an IT company, but we have in-house IT. Why? Because HILTI, they have adopted their career development strategy and also personal development strategy from the business side, because we are a direct sales company. Our sales go to construction site, they sell the power tools and all that, and they look at people very importantly. So they adopted the same strategy in the IT, in-house IT itself is the same. So like I mentioned earlier, right, whatever you want to do, as long as you are clear, you align with your boss, your team lead, they will plan your career development growth for you. I have seen people join first day engineer, second, third year project manager. Now is working in Switzerland because the plan is very clear. To do this, I need to achieve this, and this, and then I can go to the next step. Right? Everything is clear and concise, and there's no limit to where you can grow. There's only limit to how much you want to grow. That's how I see it, and also what I tell people.
So do we also need to know about sales and business if we want to join? Yeah.
But if you decide you want to do sales, you can also switch. So in HILTI, there's no limit where you can go. You can go from business to IT. You can go from IT to business. They also have engineering, right? Because they also do drawing for the oil and gas industry. So it's limitless. But then think about what you want to do, then decide and just go with it. That's the most important one. Okay. How many more questions can we take? Do we have enough time?
Yeah, I think this session is until 11:45. Yeah, we still have.
Then we slowly, one at a time. So maybe you pick one, or we go top down.
Yeah, I think we can still choose the most one.
Okay. How can we discover and know which path, AI, security, software, data is suitable for us? And what made you decide to go being with an IT product owner? So two questions. First question first. How can we discover and know which path is suitable for us? Okay. The tricks and tips to discover what you like is to think of whenever you do something, do you ever have the moment where you lost time? And when you do it, you are really happy doing it. So because you cannot think about, oh, do I enjoy doing security? You can't think like that. You gotta think like, when was the last time you did something you are really happy, right? And you won't even look at the time doing it. Because the last time I did something I lost myself is, like competition time when you draft business proposal, you really lost time. You can do until midnight or morning, and you won't feel tired. And you won't have to set an alarm to wake up. You will wake up before your alarm to do that thing. That is when you know that is passion. So when it comes to this, think about, do you like building things? Do you like solving problems? Do you like managing people? Do you like drawing things? What is it that you like? And then you can know which course helps you to achieve that, right? Solving problems, it can be security, it can be software, but how do you like solving it? Do you draw? Do you propose? Do you build? Right? There's different aspects because some people, even in software development, there's different role, right? You gotta go talk to the stakeholders. There's a problem, then there's a solution. If there's no problem, you're not building a solution. You're just building a software. So all of this, you gotta think about it. Then you know what role is suitable for you. And then what made me decide to go with being an IT product owner? I think slightly similar to what I mentioned, right? At the beginning, I was just a network engineer. Engineer do works, right? They solve problem. Do work, solve problem. But I noticed I don't like to deal so much with machines because it's really boring, right? You gotta every day go into this switch, fix this problem, go to that firewall, fix that problem. And then I told my boss, I think, it's a bit boring. Always deal with all this. I want to deal with people, right? But at the same time, I don't want to just deal with people. I also want to deal a bit with software. So IT product owner is in the middle because you deal with people, you deal with stakeholders like bosses, you deal with business user, deal with vendors, the vendor that sells you the product, you gotta deal with them. You deal with also your team because you gotta talk to engineer, right? Say, hey, I need your help to do this and that. So it's almost in the middle, but you also need to know about the software because even though you don't have to do it, you gotta know how to do it. Then you can teach people how to do it. So it's in the middle. Some people, they don't like to talk to people. Say, I just want to work with my tools, my software. Then you can do engineer, right? Even things like architect, designer, sometimes you gotta really talk to people. But if you don't like, then there is still jobs that doesn't really involve much talking. So think on that flow, then you know what is suitable with you. But also remember that nothing is always the same forever. As you grow, you will know, oh, I think that I'm starting to change to like this. I'm adopting to like this. Then you slowly change yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. What is my typical task and day like a product owner? I think I answered this just now. Okay. Do you agree with the statement, jack of all trades, master of one in the field of technology? See what you mean by jack of all trades. If you say you can do everything, there's actually a term for that. If you are in software development, you can do front end, back end, UX, right? Database, everything. This is called full stack. You know end to end. In my opinion, knowing and doing is two different things. If you know how to do end to end, that's very good. But if you are always doing end to end, that's not too good because you are now doing everything yourself. And I always tell people that we as human, they call it the crowd animal, right? We are not like lion. We are not like animal that is alone. We gotta stay together. So in order for you to achieve things, good quality and also good progress, you gotta know what is required. Then you can teach people what to do. Then you have a team. You can lead a team to do that. So when you are a jack of all trades, doesn't mean you gotta do them, but you know how to do them. Then you are a master of everything. You can teach people how to do it. This kind of people is the most talented one. You see them knowing everything, but they don't have to do it. They know how to teach people. At the same time, if you only know how to do one, if I only know how to do database, I don't know how to do the rest. If your boss asks you, hey, how do I link this database to this system? And you say, I don't know, because I don't know about that system. But I know my database. Then it's a bit odd. Then your boss is like, so what do you know? You only know database. That becomes the tricky part. So same thing, when I was learning network, I also was curious, like programmers come to me and say, hey, why this doesn't work? And then I also start learning with him, what does this do? Why do you need to do this? Then you start to understand why they want to do that. Then you can provide them that kind of service, like, oh, your proxy have to configure in this way for your system to work. So you are generally knowing more things, but you don't have to do it. You just need to know what is the problem. So when you are solving problem, this is also important. But when doing it, mastering something, just know what is suitable for you and master that. That is good enough. Okay. Do you think finance is a good field to learn as well beside computing? I heard that it's easier to get. I don't think easier to get promoted if you have finance background, unless you own the company, right? Then maybe you can be the CEO. But finance is always important, personal finance, right? For yourself, whatever you do, even you do IT engineering, you gotta have finance to make sure you know how to manage your personal finance well. You don't wanna be a person that only know how to do IT, only know how to do engineering, and then you messed up on your personal finance side. Not good. At the end of the day, if you are working to get salary only, then you need to at least know how to manage your money. Better if you know how to grow your money, so you don't have to worry too much about money. Because we as human, when you have less concern on money side, you know how to develop your passion better. That's how I see it. Right? Do you have any tips on getting internship? Does HILTI offer short-term internships? Short-term as in 6 months, yes. 3 months sometimes. I think they are doing also partnerships with I think tailors. If you want, you can just apply, because internship is always opportunities. They are always open. But if you want to get like those 2 weeks, 1 month, just go around, search online, look for the company that you want to work with. Even if it's a big firm, be brave. Just say, hey, I want to get internship with you. Not because of university, because of my free time, I want to learn. I don't see why not, because companies are always very open to get interns for 2 reasons. Not just for you to work for them. They want to train their internal employee people management skill. And also they want to train their internal employee to build people by building themselves. So what happens, like when I was in my first internship, I was assigned a mentor. The mentor is also a new fresh grad. So through this, it's very easily for that person to have the experience on teaching someone even newer, because you cannot get newer with fresh grad, right? So interns still haven't graduated, right? At the same time, nothing can go too wrong with intern, because you won't get like the maximum access to the system. You will not mess up too much. It's really, you are there very fresh, people get a fresher mindset, you help people see things differently, you also see things differently. So it's a win-win situation, as always.
Yeah.
Just ask, send email, send your CV, and then asking, you always get something, either rejection or accept. Okay. Do you think having knowledge in another domain such as business is a good thing to learn other than having IT? Is exactly important, right? Having knowledge in other domain like business is always important, because again, think about what you want to do other than IT. If you are a business mindset person, doing IT, maybe it's just technical knowledge for yourself. If you know how to do business, then you can run a software house, you can run a software company. But if you ask me about working as IT with business mindset, also important, because if you are a business analyst, you are a product owner, even if you are a software engineer, when you know what the business want, you know from their perspective, you can solve the problem that really solve their problem, not just doing things that you think is right, but doing things that the customer needs. So this is aligning perspective, right? Learning other domain always good, but always remember, learning, knowing, and doing is 2 different things. Don't mix it up. Don't be IT engineer and then start doing sales, and then it's like you are doing sales or you're not doing IT. Understand? Okay. I only have academic assignment for my portfolio and want to add up my portfolio. Do you have any suggestion? What kind of portfolio are you looking for? Is it like your FYP, or like your things that you do? I don't know who said this, but generally, if you want to add up your portfolio, internship is one, right? Because as a university student, internship is really, really good for you. And then you can go for competitions, right? Whenever people see, oh, this guy joined a lot of competitions, what does it tell? It doesn't matter if you win or not. You just say, I joined this competition. What HR will see is, wow, this person likes challenges, right? Like to take up challenges. when I hire this person, if I assign him some challenge, he will not just be scared and say no. He will say, oh, I love challenges. This is what people see. So join competitions, share your success stories, share your challenges, and then have more experience. Go around, join events like today. It's also good for you because you hear experience sharing from, for example, you can tell people, I hear from Teoh sharing, it's also a experience learned, lesson learned, all this helps you up. Of course, there are things that you don't have to write in your CV. You can just take photos, put in if you have a portfolio website, even better. People look for you, they go to your website, they see all the pictures you have taken, all the events you have participated. Even more impressive than writing, right? And also learn how to tell stories, right? Not saying make up story, but experience sharing, storytelling. Like today we are doing storytelling. I'm sharing with you my story. So another thing you can do, if in your university you have Postmaster, that's also what we do in our company. Postmaster helps you to do this part, experience sharing. Because at the end of the day, one-to-one HR interview is always about you sharing your story to the HR. Sometimes people feel like, why HR don't like me? Or like, why my CV not impressive enough? Perhaps it's because we never shared enough, or we never really intended to share what we wanted to, right? We maybe have shared half of it only, or 20%. What people heard is not the same as what we thought. So things like this is what can back you up. A portfolio, I mean, unless you really do part-time projects and all that. If no, then just put in whatever you have joined, experience, what clubs you have participated, events. I think it's good enough. Okay. I am interested in project product management. Do you have any tips on how to break into it and what skills and traits are desirable? So for project or product management, typically you will not start into this role as a fresh grad. Why? Because in order for you to do project or even product, you should always start with technical knowledge. You need to first know how is it like working in the industry. You need to know especially how is it like working with people in the industry. How is it like working with engineers, with stakeholders? So I think usually they will give you a 1, 2, or even 3 years. But it's important that if you love project management or product management, learn how to do timeline management, learn how to do stakeholder management, budget management. All this, I think clubs, if you are a treasurer, you are a president, you will have to do all this already, right? And then during your first year, express that you know these things, right? Pick up challenges. There will definitely be times where your boss asks, oh, we need to do this, who can do it? Then just say, I can try. Just demonstrate that you already know how to do this, right? Things like Kanban board, Gantt chart, impressive stuff, but boring stuff. Not everyone loves it. But if you love it, demonstrate it so that people say, oh, like, oh, Jing have this talent to do this. Maybe I can grow her in the next 2 years or 3 years. Then you get the role, right? Because this is exactly how things work in real life. You gotta take up a job, engineer, whatever it is, and then you say, oh, you don't have to say I want to be a project manager. You can demonstrate you know how to be a project manager, right? Just go online, Google, what does a project manager need to do?
That's why we do have a subject. Yeah, we do have a subject is project management. So we learn about the work breakdown structure and also the risk management. Yeah.
Yes, but like I said, if you love this and you want to venture into this role, demonstrate, do more, take up more challenge. Because I think no company will give you as a fresh grad this role. Why? Because it's not just about the skill set. It's also really about the soft skill part of it. It's like going into a club. You won't be a president the first day, right?
Yeah.
You don't be the committee the first day. Why? Because you need to know the dynamic. These are things that you don't put in black and white job description, but you gotta experience it. Because in every company there is definitely cultural, dynamics, people, or even higher level like political things like this. A project manager or product management, you need to be very aware how to deal with people. Then if they see, okay, you are in the right fit, then they will plan and give you this role. That is how I see it. Whichever environment is the same. Okay. Good. I am trying to choose between. Okay, let's go with that one first. I'm trying to choose between product management and technology consulting. Can I get your thoughts on this path? Product management and technology consulting. So again, what product you want to manage or what technology you want to consult? In my opinion, if you know what is it that you want to master that thing first. For example, if I want to be a technology consultant of, let's say, Zoom, let's take Zoom as an example. I want to be a product management of Zoom. Zoom is a product. Or I want to be a technology consultant of Zoom. Zoom is also a product. So what do you need to do? First step, master Zoom, right? You definitely have to master Zoom. If people ask you, how do I integrate an API to Zoom to do this and that? You need to already know how to do it, right? But after you have mastered it, and then you want to choose whether you want to be a product management or technology consultant, think about what you like to do. Do you like to handle stakeholders? You know, stakeholders can be very bossy. What is the timeline to do this? What budget do you need and all that? Do you like to deal with end user, right? Do you like to deal with vendor, or do you like to provide advices? You know, these are the difference. Consultant, you provide advices like, okay, for you to do this, you need to do this, this, and this. You need to know how to make guidelines. You need to know how to train people. These are consultant role. Management role is really management. So mastering your technical skill on top with a very solid soft skill becomes your job description, your job role, your career role, right? It's the same. Even so, I wanna be a development for Zoom, same thing. Master Zoom, and on top, development skill. That's your role. So anything you can think of can be your role. Okay. Next, how to know which position to apply to our first job. So to me, I think you need to know what is out there. Look around, survey enough, apply enough, you will know what job is out there. Opportunity, whatever I have to say is always opportunity. If you want to work in Facebook, for example, today they are offering you 2 jobs, right? Technical consultant for, let's say, Meta, VR, for example, or web development. But you want to work in Facebook, so you don't really have to think too much. You know you want to work in Facebook. So between these two, choose one that you can get the job, right? Other way of looking at it is, I want to be a VR developer. Whichever company, doesn't matter. Whichever offer VR development opportunity, I'll go there. Then you need to look for company that can give you the opportunity to learn more, right? Not to do very, very minimal thing. Think about that perspective, then you know what you want. Whether you want a good company so that you can grow vertically, or you want to learn technical skill that you can learn in depth, then you choose from that aspect. Do you have any job suggestion for a degree in computer science with a major in web technology? Job suggestion, I don't have. I don't know who is hiring now, but definitely if you want to build web, right, web development, look for companies that offer this kind of roles, right? You can be directly apply like a web developer, junior web developer, if you want to do development. If you want to do consultation or like business analyst, dealing with people, same, look for this kind of company, company that does offer web development. Then you can do this if that is what you want to do, right? Any insights or tips on the fintech industry? I don't have any insights or tips. I also don't know too much about fintech, but I know there are some of our students, right, previously went to, I think, Maybank, they built the app. I don't know if that is considered fintech, or if you are talking about like crypto or blockchain, those kind of fintech. At the end of the day, don't think about the industry, right? Think about what do they want, what do they need. Do they need a developer? Do they need a security analyst? What do they need? Then you start to understand what they do. Then you adopt. Okay. Was the learning curve very steep for you when you first joined the tech industry? Yes, because I mentioned just now that what I do in my first role is not what I learned in my university. But it doesn't matter because what you learn on the job is also very important. You gotta always open to do that. Was the learning curve? Oh yeah, this one. Yep, very steep, but more challenge, more rewards. That's what I will say. Any tips of winning HILTI ITC? Okay, just do your best, right? Be clear, concise of what your solution is about, and then be confident. That is how you can win HILTI ITC. Okay, and think about it. They are looking for people that can present well, but of course, your solution also have to make sense. You gotta cannot just talk about nonsense. How to keep yourself updated to the latest tech news? There's different way of doing it. You can either always listen to podcasts. You can stay tuned to newsletter. To me, I don't do too much of this, right? Just follow the flow. If you are working on a particular product, there are ways for you to keep updated to it. Definitely, there's newsletter to the company, but I'm not a person that like to read news, so yep. Where to find tech competition to join? Any recommended website? I remember there's a few. Even Malaysia, there's Eventbrite, right? So there's also a few international ones. Just look for IT competition. There will be a bunch of links you can apply already. But for Malaysia, I think MDEC previously they used to host a lot, but I don't know, is it because of COVID? Recently don't hear much, but I do see there's still a lot, like HSBC, I think they did one this year. Just look around, be open, and then just join. Look for competition to join, like you are looking for games to play lah. Okay. Do you think LinkedIn is a good platform to enhance tech knowledge? No. LinkedIn is a platform for you to expand your network, people network. From there, you will also be able to find good companies to intern with, to work with, to apply. Always keep in touch with people on LinkedIn, because you never know in future, maybe you become a team lead and you want to hire people. Where do you go and hire? LinkedIn, because you have the people. Same thing, if you want to look for a job, LinkedIn. All the industry, LinkedIn. But if you want to learn about tech knowledge, there's a lot of newsletter that I think is better, right? More up to date. What is the required skill to secure an intern? Means you want to hire or you want to secure an internship. If you want to secure an internship, again, demonstrate your soft skills, prepare your academic, get a very good CGPA, also demonstrate your experience, and also do good storytelling. Why choose HILTI? First of all, you don't really necessarily have to choose HILTI, but if you want to choose HILTI, then because this is a place where you can grow, right? We are a place for you to grow. We hire people who like to take up challenges, and we are open for you to do really whatever you want, based on what you want and also what we need. Okay, it's a very good place for IT lah, and also for Malaysia. Do you have any tips on how to improve communication skill? Toastmaster, right? Go join Toastmaster. Let's take the last two. Do you think building portfolio is more important than applying for interns? If you could only focus one at a time. Depends how do you build portfolio, right? If you build portfolio based on things that you do, then go ahead, because that is definitely more powerful, right? But again, different things. Building portfolio, not everyone can build. If you are software development, you can build. If you are, like network security or even system, you can't build those things for fun, right? You gotta have experience dealing with them. So based on your nature. Can I have your LinkedIn? Sure, I will put it in the chat in a while. And how do you recommend to learn web development? Udemy or YouTube? How do you know which company to choose as a first job? I described this just now. You can choose a big company if you want to grow vertically. You want to learn about processes, right? You want to meet people. Of course, financially more stable. You can choose I think a small company or a company that allows you to have more opportunity to learn if you want to build your technical knowledge. So think about these two places. What kind of exposure you want, and you choose that kind of company. Do you have any tips on how you did your resume back then? I personally only did it on Microsoft Word. I just find a template, just put it in, put your picture, what I put is, because fresh grad resume, right? Where do you come from? Very important. You know, I come from Kelantan. I don't stay here. Where do you graduate from? Your high school. You can still put SPM result if you want, you know, because we don't have too much curricular. Degree is like our last. Some people have PhD, master, and they don't put your university CGPA, what you have done, right? What clubs you have joined, what you have achieved. If you took some professional certificate, you can also put them. I know some uni they offer like CCNA, put them in, and also put a simple description like 3 lines or 4 lines of words about yourself. Then put your contact details. Yeah, that's basically it. And wait for your phone call. Prepare yourself to talk. I think that's the more important one.
Yeah.
Good, really good questions from the crowd. I really appreciate it. So
So I think I will pass to the MC.
so thank you, everyone.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Teoh and Jing. What an insightful kickstart. And I definitely took up something from this session, and I hope that all of you did the same too. Now I will be passing the floor to Dr. Goh for a short presentation regarding technopreneurship.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. I think that some of you might know me. Can I see a show of hand? Any of you are from School of Computer Science and Engineering? If you are from School of Computer Science and Engineering, please raise up your hand in Zoom. All right, okay, yeah, I can see that there is 5 hands here, 6 hands. Anyway, I would like to share on the new track that we are offering today, which is called the Technopreneurship track. But before I start, I would like to share with you, just now I was looking at the question that some of you have posted, right? Some of you were asking Fong how to build your profile. I just would like to add that in order to build your profile, it is good that you join some competition. So if you are from School of Computer Science and Engineering, feel free to contact your module lecturer or even your program director, or you can directly contact me if you are interested to join some competition. We will definitely be the mentor to guide you on how to join the competition. It is a good way to build your profile. Okay, so let me share my screen and then introduce myself. I think I've forgotten to introduce myself. Okay, so today I would like to present and share with you on this new track that we are offering for the new intake of students from 2022 onwards. We call it the Technopreneurship track. So I'm the program director for Bachelor of Information Technology, School of Computer Science and Engineering. And I'm also the Technopreneurship coordinator for this track. So that is why I'm here today to share with you what is this Technopreneurship track and how can you benefit from this track. So thank you very much for inviting me to share on this new track to all the students here. You might not be from Taylor's University, or perhaps in future you have your cousin, brother or sister who are interested in doing some courses or program in computer science. You might be able to share this new track, this interesting track with them. So why technopreneurship? As you know that nowadays we have shifted to the digital economy where IR 4.0, digitalizations and the innovations is very important nowadays, and it has played a very important role. So this is why Taylor University has come out with this called the Technopreneurship track. So there is a lot of successful startup in Asia. Like for example, this is the statistic that we got. And then you can see that there is a growing trend of technology startup, especially after the pandemic. So this is the top 10 unicorns in Asia that they are doing the startup. Like for example, we have Grab. I think some of it that you know, like for example, the Gojek, Sea, Ovo, Lazada, Traveloka. So these are some of the company that they are starting the technopreneurship startup. Okay, and Malaysia is also moving towards the digital economy, where Taylor's is also moving towards this kind of area where we are hoping and aiming to have like 5,000 startup by 2025 and also 5 unicorn by 2030. So this is from the Malaysia Digital Economy Blueprint of 2021. So entrepreneurship is an important agenda in higher educations. And that is why Taylor University is starting to aim and to offer this technopreneurship track to attract more students to join the program. So as you can see here, I would like to share with you some of the examples of the most renowned technopreneurship entrepreneurs in the world, where you have this person, Liam Gareda. He is the co-founder of Kepling, and he is managed to create the successful online marketplace at the age of 17. And then we have this guy called the Julia Computing, the Keno Fisher. He is the co-founder of the Julia Computing. He is one of the most popular online open source tools, machine learning and scientific computing. So he has raised around 4.6 million with grants. And then we have the Henry Hu, who is the co-founder of CafeX, where he revolutionized the food service industry through the use of advanced AI and robotics. And then we have Alesta Icon, who is the most popular content creator through the popular video game called the Fortnite. I think some of you who are playing the video game, you should know him. And then we have Odermatt, who is the Alex Cantor, who is the co-founder for the Odermatt, who came out with the idea of online ordering for the restaurant. And then we have Amelia Fredman, who came out with the Hatch apps. So it is a software development apps that focus on developing the software without using any code. So they are some of the famous and renowned, remarkable technopreneur in the world. So why technopreneurship? Because nowadays, I'm sure all of you know that millennials, they are the role models of the 21st century, and that information is endless. So you can get any information from the social media. And nowadays, youngsters like you like to learn from social media, like for example, LinkedIn or Facebook. So this is one of the places that we can take this opportunity to train or to nurture the technopreneurs. And then we have conducted some survey, and this is the survey that we have conducted, that Taylor's graduate has become the technopreneurs. And this is the statistic that we have recently, where the technopreneurs, there is 18 technopreneurs from computing school, 24 from business school, and then this 15 from the tourism schools. So these are all the computing-based startup from our alumni, from our Taylor's graduate. This statistic, we got it from LinkedIn. So I think some of you might know some of them. So we have also conducted some survey that there is quite a number of the computing graduates that they would like to expose themselves or do the startup once they are graduate. So these are some of the successful story from your senior. I'm sure most of you know Julius. He is from School of Computing in 2018, and he is the co-founder for the Aribo. So this is he is quite a successful startup in our Taylor's University. And then we have Helen Angela from the EHA Design. And then we have co-founder for the Unravel Apparel, Alicia Wee. And then this shoelace, the founder is Jensen Low. And you notice that this group, right, they have won 5th place in the National Magic University competition recently. This shoelace, right, which means you do not have to tie the shoelace in your shoes. And with his innovation idea, he managed to sell this shoelace in the Shopee now. And then we have Satish and Tila. Both of them are currently studying the Bachelor of Computer Science in Taylor's University. They founded the FoundX. FoundX is the crowdsourcing platform for competitions. And also FoundX also help company and job seekers to look for jobs. And this techno idea have won them the 2nd place in the National Magic University Startup Challenge in 2021 recently. So these are some of our alumni, like your seniors, that they are doing the startup currently, where we have Lo Jensen, Tin TJ, and then Kelly Ko and Winnie Lee. So they are the founders for some startup. So we noticed that this is like quite a successful exploration that you can consider, where beside going to the conventional track of doing the final year project and then doing the internship. So Technopreneurship track is one of the program that we are starting to offer in 2022. So if you can see that from here, there is 3 current track that School of Computer Science and Engineering are offering. First one is the conventional track. I'm sure that most of you now are doing the conventional track, where conventional track is you will be doing the 3 years in Taylor's University or in your university, where the final year you will be doing the capstone project 1 and then internship and capstone project 2. This is the conventional track for all the students here. And then this semester, we are launching another new track. We call it the WBL track, which is the work-based learning track, where for the 3rd year, students will be doing their internship, or rather say that they will be studying their 3rd year in the industry. So there isn't any capstone project 1 and capstone project 2. Students will be doing their internship or industrial project 1 and industrial project 2 at the company itself. So which means the whole 3 years, students will be doing their 3rd years in the industry, working with the industry, and also taking 2 modules online in the industry. So this is the work-based learning track that we are introducing for this semester. And from next semester onward, we are introducing another new track, which is another exciting track. We call it the Technopreneurship track, where the student will be doing the Technopreneurship project 1 and 2 at B-Spot. If you might wondering what is B-Spot. B-Spot is like the incubator in Taylor's University that nurture technopreneurs. Okay, so these are the track that I would like to share with all the students on this Technopreneurship track. I think time is running short, so I will just go through very quickly. So for this Technopreneurship track, we are trying to come up with an ecosystem where the student will have their idea. First of all, students will come up with their idea. They will have their business plan. Then they will do the resources gathering. And then we will nurture the student, and student will be able to present their idea to some crowdfunding to get some funding for their idea. So this is what the student will be doing for during their 3rd years. So in terms of this Technopreneurship track, we have a group of experienced lecturer and coaches that will be guiding the student for the Technopreneurship track. So first of all, you will have the Technopreneurship coordinator, which is me, and then have Technopreneurship coaches like Mr. T. And then we have the director from B-Sport, the techno coach from the industry that will be able to give the students the idea and how to start an entrepreneurship career. And then we have all these B-Sport mentors from the industry that they have experience as working as the entrepreneurs. So to guide you on this track. So this is what I would like to share with all of you today on this technopreneurship track. If you are interested to know more, feel free to contact me via Facebook. My Facebook ID is Weiwei Sosit, or you can contact me via LinkedIn. I will put my LinkedIn link in the chat as well. So I would like to open for question. So is there any question that you would like to ask? Okay, if no question, then I will pass it over to the MC. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you, Dr. Go. And then now I think before we leave for lunch, I think all of us can have a photo session. So please do turn on your cameras.